got major attacks on our democratic system, on our system of government, designed from the very get-go. From starting in 2015, when Donald Trump was running, he started putting out this Putin talking point that America's elections are corrupt, that America is just as corrupt as Russia, that you can't count on the outcome of the elections, that everything is rigged, and therefore we shouldn't believe in America, we shouldn't have faith in our system, and we should just let Donald Trump take charge of everything, and he'll drain the swamp and clean it all up and fix it for us because he alone can fix it. That was his sales pitch in 2016. That continues to be the Republican sales pitch. Whether it's Kerry Lake in Arizona, whether it's Donald Trump, behind all these guys, whether it's Herschel Walker in Georgia, whether it's Masters in Arizona. Well, I mean, you take Mastriano in Pennsylvania, Kemp in Georgia. Pick your candidate. They're all trying to tell you that the elections are corrupt. And therefore we should not have faith in America. This is a genuine hate America narrative. Hate our system of governance. There is a Defend Democracy project out of Washington, D.C. that is raising alarm. They just issued a new report. Rebecca Parks, the research director, says that these different groups are coordinating efforts now. If the threats are broadly defined as election deniers working at every level to disrupt the electoral process, starting with training rogue poll workers. And yes, they are doing trainings for poll workers about how to corrupt an election, not how to perform an election, but how to corrupt it. They're encouraging former Donald Trump supporters to threaten state and local officials with harassment. And this has become a major thing. We are finding that almost half, just in the state of Michigan, I want to get the lieutenant governor on to talk about this. Almost half of Michigan local officials report harassment and abuse, nearly triple the national average of 17%. Why? It's a swing state. 4 out of 5 election workers say threats have increased in recent years, say they have received threats in recent years. There's a Michigan Republican group that has made numerous false claims about the 2020 election. They're doing trainings of election work. Another strategy for election chaos included in the report is using what they call maggot canvassers to withhold certifying election results. These are in Wayne, Oakland, Macomb, and Kent counties that have large black populations. They're inserting Republican frontmen and women who will simply refuse to certify the election, saying, well, we just need to throw out all these votes to these black people. They're not legitimate. Then you've got the so-called constitutional sheriffs, like Berry County's Dar Leaf. This is a guy in Michigan who have been falsely claiming voter fraud and will use that to prevent the certification of votes by black people. And then, of course, legislation targeting ballot access, like in Georgia, where they passed a law saying that any old person can challenge as many voters as they want. And you've got, Greg Palast made a movie about this. You'll be able to see it soon. And in Georgia, you've got people who are challenging literally thousands of voters at once. Say, well, they're black people. They must be, fraudulent voters. Bottom line here, an armed insurrection is a risky business, right? I mean, people are going to prison right now for this armed insurrection. Over 800 people have been charged or arrested by the FBI as a result of January 6th. Republicans don't want to repeat that. They don't want to go to jail. They don't want to have an armed insurrection. They want to do it on the down low. They want to do it on the QT. They want to do it quietly. They want to do it in the back rooms. The way it's done in Moscow. They've learned their lessons from Uncle Vlad. And so this is why you're not seeing the Republican Party gearing up for the so-called Civil War. They're not promoting that. I mean, you've got, these guys on the fringe. But instead, what they're doing is they're infiltrating people into our election systems, and they are struggling to maintain control of the states that they control so that they can rig, particularly the swing states, so that they can rig the elections by throwing people off the voting rolls so that they can maintain their power. This is what Brian Kemp did. You know, Brian Kemp threw a million people off the voting rolls, you know, during his time as Secretary of State, over 100,000 of them just in the months before the election 2 years ago when he ran against Stacey Abrams, or was it 4 years ago, the last time they ran. And he won by 50,000 votes. He threw 100,000 people off the voting rolls just in the weeks before the election, in the months before the election. This is the new strategy. And, you know, nobody knows this outside of Georgia. And even in Georgia, most people don't know it because the media doesn't talk about it. The number of people being thrown off the voting rolls is not a legitimate topic in the minds of our media. Now, Democrats could change that if they started yelling and screaming about this, and they need to. But this is the bottom line. Now, Don Riggleman, the former Republican congressman, says Republicans have learned a valuable lesson. The local and state precinct level is where the real change happens, not at the federal level. So this could be completely nonviolent. In some places, you might not even see it.